Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a brilliant day for Cosmonarchy because we are getting into another round of 8 match here in the Tribunal Stage. Our first ever run at the Tribunal Stage is for Acropolis number 3. At some point, we are going to have 2 players emerge from this tournament, and they're going to go straight to the Battlement Stage, and we're already in those money matches. By that I mean the matches where you're going to see some very high skill indeed. We got a ZVZ set for you. And I am very happy to introduce our players. In the bottom left, the higher seed for this particular matchup, it's Krankendau. He is our Maroon Zerg player in the bottom left of Kingwa Valley. So Krankendau obviously picked this map as the starter. We'll go over the veto in a moment, but I wanted to also introduce Krankendau as the man who won his group of the March Invitational. On the other side of the map, we've got TheNightFox, who is our yellow Zerg. He's in the top right, and he did not pick Kingwa Valley, as he is the lower seed for this matchup. It's been a while since I've seen him in action, but I still ended up giving him a preferential seed over players who had been grinding, like, you know, Smarty Cakes, and even to some extent, some of the players further down, like Jackie Langsky. I feel like TheNightFox has really good, like, base level of skill, so he should actually be able to put up a fight here, even though he wasn't giving himself a big chance against Krankendau. He's been talking about how he's waiting to get stomped so he can head on and take a nap before his shift starts and stuff like that. So we will see how that actually turns up, as TheNightFox's work shift is very interesting. It's strange hours. Looks like he's gone for an 8 pool. This is like a cute little anti-6 pool build. I believe that's what he had gone for anyway. I yapped a lot in the intro, so I have no idea. But that seems to be what it looks like to me, and he's going to go for 3 pairs of Zeths, which could actually give Krankendau some trouble, but he is making some quads. I think he'll be just fine here. So that does give us time to talk a little bit about the map pool, because the veto here is on your screen. We have Kingwa Valley as our starter, followed by Crisis Vector, the latest map from Jujic. We also have Serenity, picked by Krankendau, so if we need any more maps after that, it'll be Blackwater Bastion and Near Impact. Those are the maps here. Check Stealer, Decapitation, Brainstorm, and Mass Destruction were vetoed. And look at that! We finished just in time to see that Krankendau has scouted the incoming attack, and he can now sort of gather around his Kagrints that are turning into Larvosks. Interesting building placement. I wasn't necessarily expecting this layout here, but it is actually going to be very difficult for the Zethicors to get too much done here. However, Fox at the very least has some idea of what his opponent is doing, and so he can kind of play around this knowledge. Overall, the Larvosk count is going to be relatively even. Krankendau a little bit ahead of tempo, but same count at the end of the day. We'll see how swiftly the TheNightFox transitions into something a bit more technical, a bit more powerful. I thought maybe he was going to go for some kind of look-in over here, but obviously there's no anti-surface defenses or anything. One thing that Krankendau might want to be a little bit cognizant of is like whether or not Fox actually sent additional Zeths down to reinforce these ones, but burrowed a bunch, so it makes it look like it's the same count. Would be a super Gosu move. It's not actually what happened, but technically there's a possibility. Thankfully for Krankendau, he's not really over-analyzing things right here in the first match, and his second of the 2 Zethicors that he made the single pair of there is going to escape to go for a scout. There's nothing behind here that will be endangered, since it's only 1 Zeth, and there's 3 pairs of quads being made by Fox, so no worries there. But we do have the Zorka Shroud coming on 1 base really quickly, while Fox is going to be going into that extra Kagrant, extra Larvosk, it looks like, so a very impactful extra larva for him, whereas the gas was invested into tech for Crank. So it's interesting. I don't think that really Crank got much info. I don't even know if he got close enough to see that there was no expo, but he can probably guess that based on the units hatching there, right? In theory, it would be possible to expand there, but would people want to is the question. And there it is. TheNightFox will go for an expand. He will be doing so faster than his opponent. Krankendau has the money for minerals. Has the minerals for a hatch, but I think he's actually just going to save up and get a bunch of Zoryus or something. He's clearly banking his money, waiting for that Zorka Shroud to finish. There'll be 2 Lakes and 2 Zoryus, so I don't hate that. That is a good technical army. He's got some beef with it that he can try to use to muscle the TheNightFox down. The Corrosive Touch from the Rillarocors when they explode, which the Zoryus generates as soon as it takes damage. Basically, the Corrosive Touch is only going to be useful for slowing attack speed from things like Quaz. They don't have armor, so it's not really that much of a significant blow to him. He's actually going for his own Shroud. Remember, Fox has no idea the tech that Crank is building here. His Zeths were close enough that I think he's actually going to go in for a run by. There are some reinforcement Zeths there, but Fox can at least confirm no hatch. And that should give him a little bit of pause, right? Like, okay, you're not going for expanding your economy, at least not yet, not through the Hatchrosk. So what is your game plan? You must be going for some kind of tech. And I think Fox should definitely abandon the idea of building workers from this point onward, just until he knows he's safe, especially with those Zets continuing to scout. They do see the Zorius and the Lakis, so he knows what's coming. He is definitely going to need to try to basically hunker down here and see if he can defend. Making the Ovoleth for detection is good. I don't think it'll be ready to go, but I love that he's going forward to stall. He doesn't want the Lakis to get close to his main base worker line. That's where they could do a ridiculous amount of untold damage, and he just wants to stall this out. It's like PvT in StarCraft 1 where you use your gateway army to try to stop the siege tanks from sieging up. You just continuously slow things down. That's exactly what Fox is doing. And you know what? Eventually that Zorius will go down. There's a second one there as well. There's the attack speed slow on some of those claws that will reduce their DPS a little bit. But it does look to me like, while Fox is taking some critical damage here, it's going to be a while before he really has what he needs to pull this back. And he wasn't able to finish. Okay, he does finish the last of the Zorius. Now here come the Lakis pushing forward, but there's nothing for them to get down there in the natural. He's going to go ahead and burrow it, but it will be taken care of. The Drolets end up pulling away. I don't think that Fox is going to take critical damage here. He can always come back, but there's a lot more claws where that came from. Fox needs to wait for his Gorgs to finish, and then he just needs to kill these Lakis, right? That's the main... Oh, that last spine doing so much damage. Good pairing off. He needed to finish that Lakis. He really needed to finish that Lakis. That was a critical whiff there, and it looks like there's enough quads here to kill his Gorg. Yeah, I think this is going to be an open and shut first game where Fox will end up being defeated. And will he live up to no GG clan? They're both clanmates. Crank always says GG, even though it might not be a GG sometimes. But yeah, Fox isn't going to do that. He's just going to stick to the plan. No GG, but that's okay. Fox is down a map. Let's move on to his map pick of Crisis Vector. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting directly into our second map. This is Crisis Vector. I'm not sure if TheNightFox has much of a game plan on any of the maps in the mirror. I know he's played a little bit against Cannoli. He actually defeated him 3-0 in the opening series that they had. So Fox showing that he can still play the matchup, but Krankendau is a different beast. Krankendau is still our Maroon Zerg in the bottom right. He's not going for any cheesy stuff. He's going to go for that Vespene, so he will end up going Kagrin into Larvosk into Pool or something like that. Maybe he'll go Pool Opener, giving his mineral count. I guess you could probably say the TheNightFox in the top left is going to be doing the same thing as he is our Tyrian Purple Protoss. No, wait, Zerg. I always screw that up. Tyrian Purple was a permanent Protoss color, like infinity years ago, when this was still called Project Hydra. I only ever used Tyrian Purple for Protoss, and so for some reason it's just hard-coded into my brain that it's got to be that. So it will be a pool open for Crank, Kagrant for Fox. I don't think Crank is going to go super aggro in this game. Crank has layers to his play. I think he definitely thinks about the game a lot, which is flattering as the developer, as one of the core developers, right? The primary developer for much of its history, and still a developer who is very much still active, the most active dev on the team. This is very much something that I appreciate about a man when he's like, oh yeah, I just sit here and I play the game a lot and I think about it a lot. Yeah, well, listen, I'm glad to be of service. But Crank has some layers to his play, right? And so I do think that besides me saying, oh yeah, it's really a great compliment, it will also give you some interesting antics to pull. As long as your base mechanical skill is there, if you can vary up your strategies and they're still at least like 90% as good as your baseline strategy is, right? The fact that it's different can throw off your opponent way more than to make up to more than make up for the 10% lack or whatever in efficacy or something, right? That, you know, and those are just arbitrary numbers thrown around, but that could definitely be something that players at the highest level start to mix in mind games once they really understand the core game. Once the core game, the core meta is sort of figured out to some degree. So I do like to see that. We'll see if that shows up in the middle of the series. I think the best of fives are ones where you can slowly but surely put together a nice understanding of the base meta and really keep gunning for it. And then like there's a back and forth there. There's even some cops. So yeah, I think overall it's a good time to think about the games. It's a good time to think, okay, yeah, we've got some epic strats prepared. Let's see what those ZVZ strats are going to be, and hopefully Fox can make some adaptations if that Zork's Rush ends up continuing to be Krankendau's strat. Because I do think that Game 2 is always, in some ways, the most interesting game of a best of series, especially a best of 5 or a best of 7, like anything past best of 3, where you still have a little bit of room. If something goes wrong, you can reverse sweep or threaten the reverse sweep. We've seen that in 2 of the best of 5s that we've cast recently, Shambler Dog, and the other one was, of course, Kasuga Smarty Cakes, right? And yeah, in both of those series, we had people almost complete the best of 5 reverse sweep, where they went down 0-2 and then came back. But Game 2 dictates, like, are you going to change your strategy beforehand, like say you win the first game handily, as Krankendau did here, as Shambler did in the set against Dog, as Smarty did in the set against Kasuga, do you change your strat? And the answer for Crank is no. I'm going to stick to my old strat. I'm going to continue making Zorkas. It's up to Fox to make the adaptation. And then okay, well, if it doesn't work because he did make an adaptation, then that's something that I got to think about. So Fox's adaptation so far is less Zeths, more Droleth, giving him a better economy versus somebody who is sacrificing gas early to make that Zorkish Shroud. So we've got 3 larvae per 14 sec for Krankendau, and we've got 4, an extra one for Fox. He is microing his units a little bit too much since he has these idle workers, but once he gets back into the swing of things, he's going to have a slight economic advantage. He's going for the Vornath Pond. I think that's a great choice versus Gorgs in particular, since the Gorgs are something that can be pretty lethal. And I suppose if the Lakes move async away from the Quaz, which sometimes can happen, the Nathrakors can also do really, really well into that in particular. So we'll see if that's even what Fox is going for. He's got a lot of gas in the bank here, so that's where I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's going to go Naths, maybe he's going to go something like that. He'll make 1 pair right now. Now, it is slowly climbing, so it looks like he will be investing into those. I do worry about the heavier Quaz amount that Krankendau has. At least maybe it's equivalent to the last game on Kingwa Valley, but this is a slightly slower expand for Fox. Obviously, Crank never expanded. Maybe he did in the middle of that attack last game, but it was basically over. The move out is scouted. Didn't see the Lakes, but he can surmise that might be coming. He's actually going to pull his Droleth away instead of expanding, and he's going to go back up to his ramp. He's going to turn that into a Circuith, no doubt. So he's going to have his Nathrakors ready. He can bank them, or he can use them for a counterattack, just try to hold on for dear life on the Quad side. The fact that he doesn't know the Lakes are coming, though, and he's not preempting it, I mean, he's making the Ovolith now, but I think that's like 25 seconds or something for build time. So there's a chance for those Lakes to get damage. And unlike the last game, Fox is not proactively moving forward to stop the push from coming in. So his Ovolith is about halfway complete now. He is going for that Circuith, which will be ready in the midst of the push in. So that's going to be helpful. Crank is going to go ahead and expand, and the Naths are leaving in a cloud of 10. First Quaz gets reposted. Circuith definitely revealing itself there as it got the frag. And we've got a backup Circuith over here, which is really good for anybody trying to push up the ramp with Lake, is really force open a smash. So Krankendau is actually going to fall back, content with the fact that he's expanding faster than his opponent, and he's forced static defense. He doesn't know exactly what else he's forced, but the fact that he's already back at home, and there's already Quaz waiting here, along with the rest of the army that's coming on back, the Nathrakors are going to group up as 12, or no, I guess they won't really group up, but some of the Quaz are out here. There's some waiting over here, but they immediately pivot down here because they were already preemptively seen. So this is going to be something where TheNightFox is going to need to grab a couple of worker kills and then get the hell out of Dodge. And it looks like, I'm not even sure, they didn't even get that second worker kill. So he's lost 4 Nathrakors, maybe more with that Quaz. No, he's going to stick around to pick it off, but that's okay. That still works. I love all of the little Crank moves here where he's... Oh, no, the Nats! The Nats are just kind of aggroed down. That is unfortunate there. They're going to get a little bit of value against those Quaz, but it's really not a trade that he wanted, and he's going to look over there and see, damn, lost it. Bruh, he says, 0 notification. Yeah, it's probably because he looked away, like they were attacking the one solo Quaz, and he looked away, right? And so he's not paying attention to the minimap when it blinks. So he's like expecting a ping there, but the ping already happened when he looked away from the Quaz killing the one, the Nats killing the one Quaz. Really, the answer is to not idle them there, right? You come over here. He actually would have scouted this Quaz, funnily enough, but that's way more preferable. And actually, he would have stopped the Quaz from potentially seeing this Ovolith drop that's coming in. So that one decision having some reverberations throughout the game. There is an Ovolith in the enemy base here. Krankendau is going to scout that, but there's nothing that's dropping there, right? And so Fox is going to move out. He's adding some Gorgs to his mix. He's got some Vorvs out on the field as well to try to armor rend. His Ovolith is here to try to focus down those Lakes. That's a potential option. He's unloaded the Quaz over here, but they're not queued up to attack Krankendau's main. This is an opportune time for him to try to do that. I haven't even really looked, though. Oh, he's lost his Ovolith to all the Quaz. I think all of the Lakes are dead, though. Actually, this fight could start to swing back the other way, especially with the reinforcements coming out. The Quaz are not moving, and there's nothing protecting them, really. There's a couple of, like, token Quaz over here. I guess there's enough there that can probably overwhelm that drop, but still would have been a good little feather in his bow, or, whatever, arrow in his quiver to try to throw down there. Feather in his cap is what I was thinking there, but you know what I mean. A tool in the toolbox to try to add a little bit more chaos. And yes, the Zoryus will end up going down. He needs to hightail it out of there before one of his Gorgs ends up getting punctured by all of those Quaz. The hatch is up. Oh, he loses the low HP one, though. pretty tight margins so far. Krankendau not able to run away with this game the way that he was able to just sort of straightforward push into where Fox is at, but he definitely has the economic advantage. Fox down workers and down material in here. Slightly more military army here for Crank. Obviously, there's some units back at home. I still don't think he's going to have an easy time pushing in, especially as the Gorgs end up going down. Feels like, or the Zorius rather, I feel like the Gorg should have been leveraged against the Quaz or something like that. He is kind of sneaking back over here, and these units were on patrol, so they're not exactly working out, but it doesn't look like he can hold the front gates, and Krankendau claims victory yet again. Looks to me like this will be a very fast game indeed. Well, we go to Serenity after a lengthy, I was going to say chat, but it really wasn't a chat. It was just Fox typing. He is going to be in here on Serenity. It is Krankendau's map pick. And you know what? If this best of 5 is anything like the other banger best of 5s, Krankendau's got a 6 pool, and so is Fox. I love it. I love it. I love me some Cosmonarchy. I think Krankendau recognizes that Fox is tilted, so he's going to try to get him. But Fox is tilted, so he's going to try to get him. That's just the way it is, you know? He's leaning into it. I think that's really the most productive thing. I'll talk a bit more about that probably later. Maybe maybe not at all in this cast, but there are some funny things that I have, observations that I have. So Krankendau's in the bottom left. He's our maroon Zerg, and this is a tough color to guess for Fox. I want to say this is like one of those mahogany, auburn, cordovan, redwood colors, but I'm going to say auburn. It is auburn. Okay, there you go. I figured it out. I guessed wrong when he was Terran, and I really tried to study the color of both the name and the ministry. This doesn't really help me here because obviously the hatch is differently colored, but it looks like somehow it's sunk in. That's at least I also named a bunch of the other ones. There's also wine. That's a tough one to guess because of all the others. Anyway, it will be 3 pairs of Zets versus 3 pairs of Zets. Crank actually adding a 4th there using the little larva trick, it looks like, that Fox might not be aware of. Or maybe it was just happy timing. I'm not really sure. They both did it at about the same time. I don't think the timing had much to do with it. It's probably one of those, like, you start up a worker and then you cancel it so that it starts the larva spawn timer, which is an intentional mechanic. Insofar as it wasn't necessarily deliberately coded that way, but when I saw it there, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll do that. So he's going to expand behind it as the Zets meet each other in the middle of the map. Krankendau's going to be the first one to look. And look at this. It's the 6 pool wars. Oh, he's lost so many Zets. Well, he does have some more opportunity here. He's got 2 Zets back at home. These colors are pretty similar, but I promise I can tell the difference. So he's got 5 Zets here, and there's still the 6 row. No, 8 actually. Looks like we have some lag. Hopefully I can fix that with a quick switch of the latency. He's gonna have to use the workers here. Oh, the lag spike is very brutal. That's the worst possible way to do it. Now, killing a worker isn't as bad in this game mode as it is in ZVZ and StarCraft 1, but the problem is his quads are so late to the punch, and he needs to defend with his workers here. He needs to definitely pull his workers away. Okay, very nice. He ends up only losing a single worker to that, and he has the extra hatch, remember. Now, there are Larvosks here, so I guess really you would still say Crank is ahead, but I don't think any player can kill any player right in this moment. I don't know. It's going to be tight, right? Krankendau hasn't actually made that many more workers. He's technically made, what? He's made 3 structures. So he's made 3 workers as a result. 4 workers, actually. Fox says you're a bitch. That's the same strat. They did the same thing. Yeah, but when I do it, it's fine. It's probably like, oh, you know I'm tilted. Yeah! See, I'm prescient, dude. I'm prescient. Yeah, you know. Haven't you heard of by any means or whatever? Now, this Seth is 3 hits away. It can just be killed that way. He's actually going to let a Quaz take care of it. This is not bad because he's basically saying, like, I want to mine as much money as possible. I'm not going to stop mining if I can help it, right? His Quads are going to return home. So Fox is definitely playing from a deficit, but that doesn't mean that it's over. I know that sounds funny to say, especially if you come from StarCraft 1. You're not used to ZVZ necessarily having like comeback mechanics, but there are things that Fox can do. I think if he goes for like a Khazit at the natural choke here, plus some like maybe 1 Circuit and then a lot of Quaz, that could be enough to hold any ground-based attack. The Khazit is a detector, and it gives you extra attacks onto all ranged units in the area. I don't know if that's what Fox is going to be doing. That's the Circuit. This is a fine position for a Khazit, and that's okay for a Circuit as long as you've got Quaz over here guarding, right? So that there's no run-bys. But the Zerg Shroud's already on the way. This is going to be a 1-base Crank for a little bit of time. And Fox is definitely going to be looking to try to catch back up in workers. He's already back up, right? This is the decision. Now 5 workers are about to pop for Crank, so that's about to change pretty dramatically. But still, this is actually like losing only 1 worker basically Fox has kept up to speed, roughly speaking, and there's the Khazitrit that I was talking about. So far, I'm like massively prescient, not just about the read on Fox's mental game and what he might say, but also, the read on the game so far. I'm feeling pretty confident in my analysis here. Now, I can't confidently predict Fox to come back win. That would be what I would love to see. I would love to see Fox conquer his tilt, kind of deal with that over time and push forward. And just get rid of it, But unfortunately, I can't confidently predict yes or no to that question. Obviously, you got the Quas playing defensively over here, as well as that ramp, so Crank is not going to be moving out anytime soon. I think Fox really, with his second base, he needs to just power up worker-wise. He needs to get himself to a position where he's, like, impenetrable on the defense. He needs to not die to any silliness that Krankendau can throw at him. And he also needs to maybe get, like, some kind of tech advantage or something, right? He has access to more Vespene. So similar in StarCraft 1 ZVZ, more Vespene equals more Muta. In Cosmonarchy, it's kind of different because Mutalisks are Tier 2, which Tier 2 is like a 900 gas investment before you even get access to any of the tech structures. Like, you can't even make the Spire before then, so it's not like you can preemptively set yourself up that way. But definitely a thing to think about there. That's actually something we spitballed a while ago for Terran. If you start the Atlas, can you then start making captaincies, but the units can't be trained until the Atlas is finished or whatever? The only problem there is that, like, right now, if you lose your Atlas, you can still make units, right? So that's a sacrificial Lake is. Zerg's scouting with Lake is. It will stop eventually, I swear. No air units available yet for Krankendau. He can make Gorgs. Those are the flying Ultralisks that we've seen time and time again. Workers have now become Fox's domain. And he's got a lot of Quas, and these Quas pack a punch, especially versus multiple units. So you will see these Quas be way more cost efficient. Those Zethacors not able to make anything happen there. They just confirmed that the army is still out there with a little bit of a contain. I would probably want to put down a single unit there. Oh, he's trying to get on top of it. That's actually not a bad move. You get on top of that Lakers and force it back, so he can't just siege you with a plum. There's still 3 pairs of Quads on the way, so at least there's that. I would probably want to put down another Circuit in this position, but let's see if Fox can hold without it. He's actually going to put down a structure behind this. I don't know what this will be. Probably a like second layer Circuit in case the Lake is charged forward. There's still something in there to fight. Kind of like what we saw on Crisis Vector, actually. Hydra's Den on the way, a Gorg on the way for Krankendau. We got Gorgs on the way for Fox as well. Using the really Rocore to scout is not a bad move. You see the second Kagrant. You can surmise there's going to be some extra static D, more Quas being made. And Fox looks like he's in a pretty good position to hold. I would love for him to start preemptively making like 1 Spraith per base just to zone stuff away, but he's actually behind in workers now, and Krankendau has secured a natural. So, there's a point where you start to wonder, okay, what is my game plan going to be? Could throw down another hatch as well with the minerals he's got. We'll see if he wants to. Love his own Lake is here is great. It's a good move. It's going to, even before that came out, Krankendau started to fall back. Up 10 workers, he can feel pretty confident in that his macro should be a little bit better. Obviously, we've got a lot of Zeths and Quas kind of like patrolling the map or whatever. I remember, I think it was Jujic said that in a previous set, Krankendau showed like really, really good like map scouting with patrols and stuff. And that if more Zerg start adopting that, I think that we might be in some trouble. I think that was what his wording was. Because they're just going to have so much map vision. And that might actually clue him into the Gorgs, although right now the map is a little bit more dark than light for Krankendau for sure. But he is adding some anti-air defenses, at least judging by the position, I think that's what they are. You want to keep them somewhat away from the worker line so that the Gorgs can't kill your Spraith, or attack your Spraith, and also attack your units, right? So we'll see what these end up turning into, but I'm pretty sure those are destined for Spraiths. Indeed, they are. We've got 1 Gorg attacking another set of Gorgs. Wow, okay. So he has definitely scouted out the idea. Those are actually 2 Maroon Gorgs against the 6 Auburn ones. The moving shots are good. Good on Fox for doing that, but he's going to be zoned away as they have really pitiful anti-air attacks, right? They do reduce armor, so that kind of helps them out a little bit. They reduce armor and attack speed, but yeah, you don't necessarily want to do that. He's still kind of hovering around menacingly. They'll munch on that 1 Quas that was on a patrol. That's actually pretty good because it forces more APM for Crank to get that little bit of map vision back. He's got some Quas. He's adding more Spraiths. It looks like he should be able to defend this, but how many more workers will our Fox be able to kill. It looks like he's not even going to try it, which is probably good. There's Hydras out here. Hydras and Quas do completely different things when it comes to like versus heavy armor units or whatever, right? And 2 armor is heavy in tier 1. So the Quasilisk actually deals, instead of 2x3, it deals 2x2 damage. So it's a reduction of 2 damage per volley that the Gorg sustains. So they only take 4 damage instead of 6. That's a very, very big difference. Whereas the Hydra, it doesn't have armor pen, but it just deals more upfront damage, right? So it's only dealing 8 damage instead of 10. It's like way more proportional damage, right? So these Gorgs do have to be somewhat careful of that. Oh no, they're flying over the air stack. The positioning there not quite working out. Now still, Fox has a very, very powerful sort of gambit here. He's kind of basing his defense around. Oh, good snipe onto that Ovolith. He must have damaged it earlier. That was really good. So now there's no way to offensively detect for Krankendau to try to clear those Lakes. That actually ends up really heavily delaying this this move. He's going to clear out yet another unit that was intended to watch for scouts. And do we have enough defenses over here? There's still a lot of Gorgs, which are good for anti-armor, so that the Quas can do their full damage. That's actually a really good combo there, funnily enough, versus the Gorgs. The Quas are getting kind of pulled into the line here. Fox does not want to deal with that. He's making 7 Lakes and 2 Ovoliths. He might be trying for a drop at some point because there's no anti-ground defense here besides obviously like the units themselves, right? But there's no detection over there passively. Krankendau making 2 of his own Ovoliths, so that's kind of interesting. All right, we'll see if those Lakes can get their burrow on. Gorg's just kind of sweeping the map, making sure no extra bases have been taken. Got a 4th Spraith in the cards. Interesting. That plus the Hydras are definitely going to do some damage here. They burrow, which is good because there's no detection with this army. Still, some of the Drillets will end up going down, but that ends up being pretty effective there. The Gorg count goes from, I think it might have been, I see 4 corpses here, so I'm going to say it's 5. It's 4 now, so yeah. The Hydras come up to actually intercept the rest of them. Good army movement from Crank. That's all the Gorgs gone. It looks like Fox is going to be moving in with a Gambit to just see if he can move out. Moving in to move out. Or at least move up ahead of his defenses and try to take a more open fight with some initiative here. And Fox will be scouted out by those patrolling units. Very annoying. Krankendau definitely making a good set of value out of that. The Lakes need to be in a good position here. I don't know how practiced Fox is with Lakes. Oh, and one of them gets hit by the Zoryus. That speeds up all the other units around as long as the debuff lasts. Gotta really watch out here. The Ovoliths are in a good stack. He's got 4 of them. Krankendau is not going to lose detection anytime soon. There's no way to deal with that. And so, realistically speaking here, there's no anti-air defense. I don't know where Fox's army retreated to. Okay, it's way out of position. That could have been so bad. Because if Krankendau just decided to descend upon the Lakes with his Gorgs, he might have actually just gotten shellacked. There are some Hydras in Fox's army. He's got so much money in the bank he needs to get to spending. Because he is moments away from being dropped to the, not the lower bracket, because this is single elim, dropped to the gauntlet stage out of tribunal contention. He did say that he wasn't likely to get any wins. He says. He might just... Oh, I love it. Okay, well, I was going to say, it didn't look like Fox was potentially going to clutch that one out. ZVZs can be fast. That one, not so, but the series overall, definitely a speedy one. And you know what? Krankendau moves on. I thought Fox was going to be able to take at least a game, and I actually think that there's a world in which he salvages his crisis vector position. I think he probably got a little bit over tilted on the Naths, and again, the decision there to leave them inside the base where the ground units could attack them. Say what you will about the timings of like the notification system or whatever. I think like a lot of competitors will be able to. At least they aspire to have a mindset where they can just be like, okay, well, maybe I don't like this thing about the game, but I'm still competing within the game, right? Obviously, at this level of play where we're just a bunch of homies having fun, if you're not having fun, you shouldn't play. That's like par for the course commentary. I'm not making a profound statement there. But as we see Krankendau move past the TheNightFox, I do think maybe if he wanted to try to dial in that play a little bit more, he would have behooved himself a lot to just kind of move up. I don't think Crank noticed the drop because he was busy attacking anyway, but that's one thing that he would have even cleared the way for, so that he would have paved the way for his drop if his Nats went up to the 3 o'clock position there, killed that Quas that was patrolling, and then opened things up. That's all the way back in Game 2. Game 3, it was a 6-pool opener, double 6-pool. We love to see that kind of aggression. Didn't quite work out. Fox tilted. We'll see if he can recover. Hopefully he sleeps it off, has a good day at work. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me for this Cos Monarchy cast. Krankendau will move on to the qualification series. He will face the winner of Arbuz Budesh versus Smarty Cakes, which is set to take off, I believe, Wednesday. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, that will be a Wednesday fight. or maybe it was Tuesday. I can't remember. Either way, it'll be happening sometime soon. On the other side of the bracket, Top Ramen versus Jack Yelensky will be played soon, and then the winner of that will face the Shambler for qualification. So we're seeing which one of which one of our remaining players will end up being the Battlement Knights, so to speak, the ones that get qualified and skip the gauntlet entirely. Stay tuned, because we got plenty more Cosmonarchy to be played. GG.